Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. As you know, Ukraine is still experiencing pretty severe power outages. We're doing our best to release new episodes daily, but in case we won't be able to do so, be assured that we will resume as soon as possible and stay with us. You can support us by rating the podcast, sharing it with your friends, and by donations via the Patreon and PayPal. All links will be in the description to this episode. Your support helps us to get through these hard times. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 276 days, Ukraine defends itself against the forces of the Russian invasion. Yesterday, Ukraine remembered victims of Holodomor of 1932-1933, an artificially created famine caused by the Soviet authorities that killed millions of people in Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky announced the launch of the Grain from Ukraine program, reports Interfax Ukraine. Under this initiative, food will be delivered from Ukraine to the poor countries of Asia and Africa. He announced this in Kiev, opening the Global Food Security Summit. It was attended online and offline by President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Prime Ministers of Poland, Lithuania, Romania, Belgium, as well as the President of Hungary. Zelensky said that as part of the initiative, by the beginning of next spring, it is planned to send at least 60 ships from the ports of Ukraine to countries that are under the threat of famine and drought, all of which are in dire need of help. According to the president, so far almost 50 ships have left Ukrainian ports, carrying 12 million tons of agricultural products for 40 countries of the world. Zelensky noted that due to Russia's actions, queue of ships on their way to Ukraine is 80. The president stressed that Ukraine is in favor of an increase in the number of ports and the indefinite continuation of this initiative. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal announced that the government of Ukraine has allocated 900 million hryvnia, over $24 million, for the purchase of corn for poor countries in Asia and Africa. In his evening video address, President Zelensky said that more than 20 countries supported this food security summit, and the total amount of funds accumulated for its activities is about $150 million. He pointed out that such actions affirm that never again should hunger be used as a weapon. Quote, "If it weren't for Ukrainian food, if it weren't for our joint leadership with our partners, social stability in such regions as North Africa and the Middle East would not have been maintained. This is exactly what Russia wanted. We must and we cannot allow this," unquote. Volodymyr Zelensky informed that Kyiv and 14 other regions are still suffering from power outages. According to him, at least 100,000 families in each of the regions are without the electricity. If consumption increases, the number of outages may increase as well. The president reminded how important it is to save power and consume it rationally. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy continues to regroup the troops in order to strengthen units in the Liman, Avdiivka and Novopavlivka directions, reports Union. Over the past 24 hours, units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine repelled the attacks of the occupiers in the areas of 5 settlements in the Lugansk and Donetsk regions. The enemy launched 2 missile strikes on civilian objects in the city of Dnipro and carried out 38 attacks from multiple rocket launchers on the positions of Ukrainian troops and civilian objects, in particular the city of Kherson. According to the intelligence, preparatory measures are underway in Russia and in temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to conduct another wave of covert mobilization into the ranks of the Russian occupying forces starting from December 10th. According to the U.S. Institute for the Study of War, the overall pace of operations along the front line has slowed in recent days due to deteriorating weather conditions, but is likely to increase starting in the next few weeks, as temperatures drop and the ground freezes, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The experts say that it is unclear if either side is actively planning or preparing to resume major offensive or counteroffensive operations, but the meteorological factors that have been hindering such operations will begin lifting. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.